You're listening to AI Signals, Daily Dose. 223. That's the average number of AI-related security incidents a company experiences every single month. Not per year, per month. And the organizations in the worst shape? They're hitting 2,100 incidents monthly. Most of these aren't sophisticated cyber attacks. They're employees pasting confidential data into ChatGPT on their personal accounts. And their bosses? Many of them are doing the exact same thing. Welcome to the age of shadow AI. This is your daily dose for Wednesday, February 12, 2026. Today, we're going deep on one topic, shadow AI, the fastest growing governance threat inside enterprises right now. We're going to look at what the data actually says, why banning it doesn't work, and what the companies getting this right are doing differently. And by the end of this episode, you'll understand why the biggest AI risk most companies face isn't a hacker, it's their own employees. So let's start with the evidence, because the numbers are staggering. A Blackfog survey of 2,000 employees in the US and UK found that 49% of workers admit to using AI tools without employer approval, nearly half. And here's the part that should alarm every security team. 69% of C-suite executives, the presidents, the senior VPs, say they're fine with it. They're prioritizing speed over security. The people who are supposed to set the governance standards are the ones breaking them. Netscope's 2026 Cloud and Threat Report found that 47% of employees using generative AI at work are doing so through personal accounts, not enterprise accounts with data policies and audit trails, personal Gmail logins, free-tier ChatGPT, no guardrails, no oversight, no retention policies. And 3 out of 4 CISOs, 75%, have already discovered unsanctioned generative AI tools running in their environments. Another 16% aren't sure, which probably means they have the same problem and just haven't found it yet. Now let's talk about what's actually leaking. This is where it gets specific and concerning. Source code accounts for 42% of all AI-related data policy violations. Developers are pasting proprietary code into LLM tools to get help debugging or refactoring. Regulated data, think personal information, financial records, healthcare data, makes up 32%. And intellectual property is another 16%. This isn't hypothetical. In 2023, Samsung engineers pasted proprietary chip design code and internal meeting notes directly into ChatGPT. That incident made headlines and led Samsung to ban the tool entirely. But most shadow AI incidents never make headlines. They happen quietly, every day, across every industry. Cisco's 2025 privacy study found that 46% of organizations have already experienced internal data leaks through generative AI. And the financial impact is real. According to IBM's 2025 Cost of a Data Breach report, shadow AI incidents add $670,000 to the average cost of a breach. That's not the total cost. That's the premium you pay on top of an already expensive problem, just because the AI tool involved wasn't sanctioned or monitored. So that's the what. Now let's talk about the why, because this isn't just carelessness. There are structural reasons shadow AI is growing faster than any governance framework can contain it. The first driver is democratization. Generative AI has the lowest barrier to entry of any enterprise technology in history. You don't need a budget, you don't need IT approval, you don't need to install anything.
You open a browser tab, type a prompt, and you're using the most powerful technology on the planet. Every employee is now a potential AI developer, and most IT teams have no visibility into what they're building. The second driver is organizational pressure. Here's the irony. Many companies are under executive mandates to adopt AI faster, to find productivity gains, to automate workflows. But those mandates rarely come with parallel governance mandates. So you've got business units racing to deploy AI to hit their targets, while the security and compliance teams are still writing the policy documents. The result is a gap, and employees fill that gap with whatever tools they can find. The third driver is cultural. In most companies, initiative is rewarded. Speed is rewarded. Nobody gets a promotion for saying, let me check with IT before I use this tool. 63% of employees in one survey said it's acceptable to use AI tools without IT oversight if no company-approved option is available. They're not being malicious, they're being practical. And the organizations that haven't provided sanctioned alternatives have nobody to blame but themselves. And here's the uncomfortable mid-episode truth. Even the security leaders are doing it. Research shows that 90% of security leaders themselves report using unapproved AI tools at work, with 69% of CISOs incorporating them into daily workflows. The very people responsible for stopping shadow AI are contributing to it. So who wins and who loses here? And what actually works? Let's start with what doesn't work. Banning AI. Samsung tried it. Several banks tried it. It fails almost universally. Employees find workarounds. They use personal devices. They use personal accounts. And now you've lost all visibility into what they're doing. You've traded a governance problem for a blindness problem. That's worse. The companies getting this right are doing something different. They're governing shadow AI instead of fighting it. The first step is visibility. You can't govern what you can't see. Cloud Access Security Brokers, or CASBs, can detect which AI endpoints employees are hitting. Endpoint management tools can flag unusual API calls. Netscope's data shows that the average organization has 66 generative AI apps in use, with 10% classified as high risk. If you don't know your number, that's your first problem. The second step is providing sanctioned alternatives that are actually good. This is critical. If your approved AI tool is slower, less capable, or harder to use than the free version of ChatGPT, employees will keep using ChatGPT. The sanctioned option has to be competitive. Companies like Atlassian and Salesforce have built internal AI platforms with enterprise-grade security specifically to solve this problem. The third step is what some firms are calling an AI registry. Think of it as an asset management system for AI. Every approved model, every data connector, every MCP server gets registered with a designated owner. Responsibility follows capability. If someone spins up a new AI integration, it gets cataloged, reviewed, and monitored. It doesn't disappear into the shadow. And the fourth step is education. Not a one-time compliance training that everybody clicks through in 4 minutes. Ongoing, practical education about what's safe to share with AI tools and what isn't. The employees pasting source code into ChatGPT aren't trying to cause harm. They genuinely don't understand the risk. That's a training failure, not a character failure. Now here's where this is heading. Gartner predicts that by 2030, more than 40% of enterprises will experience a security or compliance incident directly linked to shadow AI.
Given that we're already at 223 incidents per month for the average organization, I'd argue the prediction is conservative. And in regulated industries, 1 in 4 compliance audits in 2026 will specifically ask about AI governance. If you don't have answers, you'll have problems. So here's the takeaway. Shadow AI isn't a technology problem, it's a leadership problem. The tools exist to detect it, the frameworks exist to govern it, the sanctioned alternatives exist to replace it. What's missing is organizational will. The companies that treat AI governance as a strategic priority, not an IT afterthought, will move faster and safer than everyone else. The companies that don't, they're one leaked dataset away from a headline they can't take back. The biggest AI risk most enterprises face right now isn't an adversary, it's an employee with a browser tab and no policy telling them what not to paste into it. If you found this useful, share it with someone who manages a team that uses AI, which at this point is basically everyone. I'll be back tomorrow with more. Until then, stay curious.